In this video, we are going to learn about microorganisms. So, microorganisms are the very tiny living organisms that can only be seen with the help of a microscope. So, we have three different types of microorganisms. We have viruses, bacteria, and finally we have fungi. So first, let's take a look at viruses. Some scientists argue if viruses are living or non-living. So we still do not know if they're living or non-living. But viruses can only live with the help of a living organism. So they live on a living organism. So we call viruses as parasites. They need a host to live on. And they don't cause any benefit to the host at all. But they need a living organism to live on. So they live on living organisms or a host, and that's why they're called as parasites. So they're totally dependent on a host cell, a cell they live in. They're called parasites. They cannot grow without a living cell. Can't grow or reproduce without a living cell. Viruses cannot grow or reproduce without a living cell. Parasites, they live on a host. So viruses usually cause diseases in humans, and they cause viral infections such as flu, influenza virus, so flu, cold, measles, hepatitis, AIDS, etc. So these are just some human viral infections caused by various viruses. So common viral illnesses such as influenza and the cold are difficult to treat because viruses are not affected by antibiotics. So antibiotics are only used to treat bacteria and fungal diseases, and they don't have an effect on viruses. Viruses are not affected by antibiotics. So therefore, we use vaccination to treat viral infections. Vaccinations. So vaccination is basically the introduction of weakened form of the virus, weakened form or an inactivated form of the virus into a living body so that the living body can be prepared to produce antibodies to help fight infection. So vaccination is when a harmful version of a disease is introduced into a person in order to stimulate the production of antibodies by the white blood cells in that living organism. So when a person is vaccinated, they get the weakened form of the virus into their body so that the body can stimulate the production of antibodies. After a person is vaccinated, if they come in contact with the actual virus or the actual disease, then their body will be able to fight the infection very easily. So that's the use of vaccination. But many people think that viruses are only harmful, but there are some uses of viruses too. So uses of viruses, but very few uses of viruses. They are used in genetic engineering to make very useful products. Genetic engineering. And a virus known as bacteriophage is used to treat bacterial infection in human beings. So bacteriophage, bacterial infection, to prevent some harmful bacteria from entering our body. So just two uses of viruses. So this is about viruses. Now let's take a look at bacteria now. So bacteria. When most of us hear the word bacteria, we are more than likely to think of dirt and disease. But Bacteria are very useful to human beings, but there are some bacteria which cause diseases too. So diseases such as cholera, typhoid, TB, tuberculosis, which is caused by the bacteria known as tuberculosis mycobacterium, and food poisoning too is caused by some harmful bacteria. So these are the diseases that are caused by those bad and ugly bacteria. Bacteria are also responsible for food spoilage, which in turn causes food poisoning in our bodies. When bacteria are good, they're very, very good. Uses of bacteria now. Bacteria are known as decomposers. So they help dead living organisms to rot and decay, break down dead organic matter. Some bacteria are used in making antibiotics. So they're used in the production of antibiotics, and they are used in genetic engineering. And very importantly, some bacteria are used to recycle carbon and nitrogen. Carbon and nitrogen in carbon cycle and nitrogen cycle. They play a vital role in human health through their activities in the gut. So there are so many useful bacteria present in the gut of humans. So gut means the intestines of humans in the digestive system. There are trillions of useful bacteria in our gut. These bacteria are mainly found in the large intestine, especially in the colon part. In colon, in humans. And there are some bacteria which produce vitamins B and K in humans. So vitamins B and vitamin K are produced by useful bacteria in the human gut. So that's why these bacteria are known as mutualistic bacteria, because they benefit from us and we benefit from them. So they're known as mutualistic bacteria. So mutualism is where two organisms live with each other and both of them are benefited from each other. So mutualistic bacteria is when the bacteria benefit from us because we are providing, our gut is providing a nice place to live for them, and we are benefiting from the bacteria because they're producing nice vitamins and they help in our gut health. So mutualism is when two organisms live in close association with each other and both of them benefit from this arrangement. Benefits of mutualistic bacteria in the human gut. They can help to digest some foods. Digesting foods. So some types of foods are digested by this mutualistic bacteria, and as we have said, they produce vitamins B and vitamin K. Vitamin B is for general energy and vitamin K is for clotting of the blood. And then they also prevent some harmful bacteria from entering the body. Prevent harmful bacteria from entering the body. That's also a function of mutualistic bacteria. And another thing is they boost our immune system by putting the harmful bacteria away from our body. Boost the immune system. So there are loads of uses of bacteria in genetic engineering industry, production of antibiotics, carbon and nitrogen, recycling carbon and nitrogen in the carbon and nitrogen cycle, and various uses in the human gut, in our colon, present in our colon, in large intestine. And these are known as mutualistic bacteria because we benefit from them and they benefit from us, and different uses of mutualistic bacteria in our gut. Now let's talk about probiotics. Probiotics are basically some useful bacteria that we take inside our body that improve human health. So probiotics are living organisms that improve human health. They're taken as food supplements, especially in the form of yogurts, drinks, or capsules. A probiotic that is of particular help in the human gut is Lactobacillus acidophilus. Example of a probiotic that is helpful in the human gut. So we usually take them in the form of food, yogurts, drinks, and capsules, examples of probiotics. So this is about bacteria, and now let's take a look at fungi. So now we learn about fungi. Fungi, they are decomposers. That's their main function. They help dead organisms to rot and decay. And like bacteria, there are some good fungi and some bad fungi too. So bad fungi cause diseases such as athlete's foot, ringworm, etc. Fungi, along with bacteria, are decomposers, as we've seen. They break down dead organic matter into substances such as carbon and nitrogen compounds. And these compounds are then recycled back into living organisms through the process of photosynthesis and nitrates from the soil. So there are a few fungi that cause diseases. The bad fungi cause athlete's foot and ringworm. These are treatable with antifungal medicines. Overall, fungi are very important for human health. They provide powerful medicines, for example, medicines to control cholesterol and immunosuppressant medicines used to prevent transplant patients rejecting organs, for example, liver, heart, and kidneys. So, good fungi, they produce antibiotics also. So example is penicillin. So this is a very important antibiotic, and it's made from fungi too, the good fungi, and produce antibiotics, produce powerful medicines used to treat cholesterol level, etc. Penicillin and other antibiotics are all based on natural chemicals produced by fungi. Now, the overuse of antibiotics. So antibiotics are the things that treat bacterial infections and fungal infections, and they don't have an effect on viruses. So overuse of these antibiotics can cause in the production of antibiotic resistant bacteria. And these are mainly caused by mutations and overuse of antibiotics. So these antibiotic resistant bacteria are the bacteria that are no longer are affected by antibiotics. So it's a waste of giving antibiotics because they are already resistant to antibiotics. So overuse of antibiotics can lead to resistant forms of bacteria known as antibiotic resistant bacteria. So these bacteria are also known as superbugs. So this is about virus, bacteria, and fungi. Now, as we have seen before, that bacteria can also cause food spoilage and food poisoning in humans. So now let's take a look at food spoilage in detail. Food spoilage is caused by bacteria and fungus too, some fungus. Protecting fruit from spoilage is a very important factor in human health. So we can use food prevention or food preservation to prevent the food from spoiling. So we have different techniques to preserve food. The first technique is refrigerator. So why is refrigerator used to preserve food? Because refrigerator has low temperature. So this is where the microorganisms won't work here. So low temperature. Freezing, low temperature, and no water. So if there's no water, microorganisms cannot work here. And then we can also use salting and syrup. So the salt and the sugar in the syrup, they remove water from microorganisms. Remove water from microorganism cells. So they cannot work here, they'll die out here. And then pickling. When we add vinegar into our food, so the high acid in vinegar kills the bacteria or the fungus. So high acidity levels in vinegar kill the bacteria and fungi. We have drying. So there is no water here also. In freezing, there is low temperature too. And no water. And then lastly, we have pasteurization. So the food is kept at high temperature here in pasteurization. Instead of high temperature, the food is kept at instead of low temperature, food is kept at high temperature to kill the bacteria and the fungus and the pathogens which cause food poisoning or food spoilage. So food spoilage causes food poisoning in humans. So in this video, we took a look at viruses, bacteria, and fungi. So how viruses are, we took a look at vaccination, how are they used or how are they useful for humans, and the diseases caused by viruses. In bacteria, we took a look at the diseases caused by harmful bacteria and the uses of bacteria, and in the human gut too, such as the mutualistic bacteria. And then for fungi, we took a look at the diseases caused by fungus such as athlete's foot and ringworm, and the uses of fungi too. And then lastly, we took a look at food spoilage, food preservation techniques, and how the food preservation techniques work. So in this video, we took a look at microorganisms.